Sunday, October 3rd, with the majority of the company's roster and production crew coming back from England for the Rebellion pay-per-view. The news came out on Vince Russo giving Vince McMahon notice on him leaving the company and signing with WCW along with co-writer Ed Ferrera, in one of the biggest shocks the business has ever seen. Vince Russo, who since entering the creative team 2.5 years ago, not only did the almost impossible in entering what was at that point a closed circle, but earned McMahon's trust with his creativity and work ethic to the point where one by one they were all eliminated from the process, leaving Russo and then later Russo and Ferrara working exclusively with McMahon. With all the numbers and credit for playing a major part in the WWF's turnaround over the last 2 years, expectations were huge for them coming into WCW, a completely different environment in terms of political structure and content restriction. Midway through the first hour, the building suddenly stood up as the outsiders walked through the crowd unannounced with beer in hand, with Scott Hall making his first TV appearance since April and Nash since the Road Wild pay-per-view. Sitting in the front row and making several shoot comments, including Hall saying that Nash is working the retirement angle and gave him a call, saying that they're gonna come back when it's fun again. Even with Hall and Nash's TV return, the big story of the night was another return, with Bret Hart's first appearance in Kansas City's Kemper Arena since the Owen tragedy in May. The announcers told viewers that Bret Hart picked Chris Benoit and the two will wrestle tonight, no rivalry or the regular TV hype, but a special tribute match to Owen, with both targeting a special performance in one of the most important nights of their careers. WCW's strategy over the past few weeks of loading up the first hour continued, with Goldberg again wrestling early in the show, along with a seed match against Bryan Adams right before it. Goldberg went over Jerry Flynn, with the match ending just as Raw was going on the air. Post-match saw Goldberg hyping the Seed Havoc match while saying that after he's done with Seed he's coming to take back his title. The final Raw of the Vince Russo era started with a four-way tag match, as even with the news coming out yesterday, Russo and Ferrera already handed the company the full TV scripts for both Raw and SmackDown for the week before the announcement, ending the most successful TV run in history, with the group overseeing the Raw show that increased its audience an unprecedented 170% since starting writing it, revolutionizing the way wrestling television was written, produced and filmed, making the show a genre in itself by hooking viewers with intriguing storylines, outside-the-box skits, cliffhangers and storyboards in detail that raised the bar and set a new standard in the industry, with every roster member from top to bottom over big with the crowd involved in ongoing angles, turning Raw from its early days playing medium buildings in front of a decent television audience, to a touring monster that will sell out any arena in the world, while completely taking over the cable charts, with the peaking Raw product becoming the hottest weekly program in the history of cable television. Next on Nitro was Curt Hennig vs. Brad Armstrong, going against Edge and Christian vs. the Hardys on Raw in the second match of the Terry Invitational Series, with Edge and Christian going over in 4 minutes to go 2-up. Minutes later, Triple H came out hyping the No Mercy title main event against Steve Austin, calling JR to the ring. Austin's only appearance on the night was a taped interview with JR filmed last Friday, saying that Payback is coming to Triple H at No Mercy, ending up with Hunter questioning JR and attacking him in another heat angle, with Austin set to return next week for the go-home show in Atlanta. A notable spot during the 12-minute Juventud vs. Kidman match saw Juventud doing the full people's elbow spot, and right after it going to the camera saying that he knows his role. A few minutes from 10 p.m., Harley Race was in the ring for the introduction of the Owen tribute match, mentioning his history with the Hart family going back decades. Benoit came out wearing an Owen shirt, with both getting a big ovation to start the match, with the announcers, as they previously mentioned, calling it in a completely different tone than the regular TV storyline matches, along with the crowd reaction in respect to the special moment. Raw peaked with a 6.7 rating in the fourth quarter, featuring the end of the Triple H segment along with Mankind backstage planning another surprise for Rock, and the tag team of Jarrett and Ivory against Moolah and Mae Young, and the continuation of the angle to build to the second Jarrett-Chyna pay-per-view match at No Mercy. The Bret Hart-Chris Benoit match built up gradually in the early stages, signaling to viewers and the crowd that they are going longer than the average TV match. After the Harley introduction and both entrances, Hart and Benoit started at the top of the hour with a match set to go through 2 commercial breaks, an unheard-of situation in the successful TV formula of the boom period to usually feature 2 to 7-minute matches in between the big star power angles, as the Bret-Benoit match was set to go over past the 20-minute mark and cross over 3/4. Mankind was out on Raw introducing Rock to a massive reaction from the 15,000 sold-out New Jersey crowd, while the Hart-Benoit match was picking up in the second half of it, matching expectations and putting on a top pay-per-view quality 27-minute match, the longest in show history. While 2 commercial breaks were going on the original TNT broadcast, the match aired in full on the exclusive Backstage Blast specials the company ran at the start of every month. The match, which went from 9:55 to 10:35, picked up over 800,000 viewers for the duration of it, ending up with Bret going over with the sharpshooter as Hart and Benoit hugged in the ring and looked to the sky to a big ovation from the crowd to the crew, ending one of the memorable matches and moments in show history. The highest-rated team in cable TV history came out a week after breaking all records for the iconic This Is Your Life segment, setting the record for the highest-rated quarter in Monday Night Tours history by a distance of almost 1 million viewers. The Rock and Sock connection teased the breakup of the team before being interrupted by Chris Jericho cutting a promo on both. As that was going on, a fan dressed like Jericho jumped in the ring before being taken out by Foley and security, with Rock responding telling Jericho to keep his dad out of the ring. 35 minutes after the People's Elbow spot on TNT, the response came as Rock told Jericho if he's supposed to be impressed by him beating some jabroni named Juventud, with the crowd popping big and the announcers selling not knowing who it is. Ending up with Rock telling Jericho to come to the ring around 20 minutes from now, setting up the first Rock vs. Jericho match in the main event. Hogan and Flair came out to hype them teaming up in the tag main event against Sting and Luger. With both companies mentioning the signing and departure of Russo and Ferrera on their websites, WCW also mentioned it on air, with Tony announcing the signing of the top creative heads in the business while hyping a special Yahoo chat with them for Tuesday. Russo did several interviews in the day after the signing, including a lengthy interview on the Torch newsletter, mentioning the workload and the 24/7 commitment to McMahon as the biggest reasons for leaving. Saying that he was with the company 6 years, and the first 6 weeks since the debut of SmackDown with them having to write 2 primetime TV shows a week, was the hardest he has ever worked, as it was 7 days a week around-the-clock commitment. In an unexplainable situation, the 2 people writing the TV shows were not signed to official contracts, a mistake that was not repeated again and led to Vince changing company policies forever. Vince McMahon arrived for his first appearance with the show almost 2 hours in, calling out Bulldog after shooting an angle on the Rebellion UK pay-per-view that saw Bulldog injuring Stephanie with her doing an amnesia angle. Vince called Bulldog to the ring, ending up with him saying that he's done with apologies and taking the night off. WCW's tag main event started already in the overrun, going longer than usual, ending the show at 11:09 p.m. including 4 minutes unopposed. Going 6 minutes with Hogan and Flair going over after Hogan pinned Sting in the build to the Havoc pay-per-view. Going off the air with a show-long reveal of Sid getting his car smashed again. The first ever Rock vs. Jericho match picked up big, gaining over 1 million viewers to a 6.5 rating. Going 8 minutes with Rock going over with the People's Elbow. 2 additional points on the match was the finish, as in the original Raw script Russo and Ferrera booked Jericho to go over presumably with Bulldog's interference in the build to their Rock vs. Bulldog No Mercy match. The second point was the lights in the Continental Airlines Arena going out for a few minutes mid-match, with Rock and Jericho working through it with a spotlight on the ring until the lights came back. Ending the show with a Rock Bulldog brawl to set up the pay-per-view match.